Today, I'm so excited for you to listen to the wisdom of Kristen Hartnagel. We're going to talk about a lot of subjects, but let me tell you who she is. She is a dynamic keynote speaker and personal branding strategist with more than 8,000 hours of strategy coaching under her belt and over 30 years of sales experience. She knows what she's doing. She is a founding member of Brand Builders Group. They are phenomenal, recognized by Inc. 5000 for 3 years in a row. They do the stuff, man. She specializes in guiding bold, creative visionaries to craft magnetic personal brands. And this is so cool because she's good at this, helps folks land high-value speaking engagements. She's actually an extraordinary coach. I can tell you that firsthand. She has helped multiple clients reach the USA Today bestseller list and supported leaders achieving record-breaking business success repeatedly. She is known, and this is so interesting, for her intuitive yet proven approach. She empowers entrepreneurs and thought leaders to build iconic brands that really amplify impact and drive extraordinary growth. It's a beautiful description. I got to tell you, she lives it, which is so amazing. And I think that's why you're really going to enjoy her today, is because she's not just this. She's this broad, beautiful woman who has so much in common with us that I don't know that I fully understood until I did this interview. I hope you have as much fun listening to it and it touches your heart as it did mine. Welcome to my realm. I'm Tami Jorden, and this is Butterfly Days, the podcast that proves you're not past your prime. You're living in it right now because women don't have expiration dates. Butterfly Days is a celebration of the extraordinary potential of Gen X and Boomer women. Throughout history, women have shared wisdom to uplift and empower one another. And you're about to learn hard-earned wisdom and best-kept secrets from interesting, inspiring women. So if you're ready to embrace your butterfly season with confidence, find joy in the present, and create a legacy that matters, you're in the right place. No more holding back. Let's spread our wings now. Here we go.
I'm just happy to have the opportunity to be with you again.
I know. I've been so excited and incredibly grateful because I think it's really gracious of you that you're willing to sit down and have another conversation. And especially because you were my very first person. I was so nervous.
Aww.
I'm sure you didn't notice the insane level. Yeah.
Did not.
Yeah.
Absolutely did not.
No, but I gave your full bio. So we know that you're very professional and that you support people achieving high results and the beautiful branding and all those things. So what I was thinking to do is to maybe play around with the idea that here you are, this extraordinary, professional, accomplished woman. You support so many people in crafting the brand and the business life that next levels them and allows them to live their dream. And that's incredibly beautiful as a job. But there's a woman behind it who had life experience. And all of us listening to this podcast are women in midlife, as are you. And I know that you've had a lot of experiences, but are there things that have particularly marked you in who you are or what you've gone through that you would share with us?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things is, I think in my older age, I'm recognizing how rare my actual nuclear family was. I was really close with my mom. Like, I would have considered her my best friend. I could tell her literally absolutely anything. And my friends actually came to her and would talk frankly and openly and honestly about what was on their heart because they couldn't talk to their own parents. I had that kind of close relationship with my dad too, to be able to talk about literally anything. And then my sister and I, we went through the normal childhood, fighting. But then when we became of age to decide who we wanted to hang around with, we wanted to hang around with each other. And so we were also best friends. And so how rare is it that the people that you're the closest with, you're really the closest with? There was,
That's insane.
I know, deep,
In a
meaningful
beautiful, beautiful way.
conversation. Yeah, every conversation we had was an expansive conversation about meaningful things to me, like consciousness,
Mm.
spirituality, and connection. And my mom, she marched with Cesar Chavez to boycott grapes and
Wow.
iceberg lettuce when people were being mistreated. My
Hmm.
dad, philosopher, and interviewed Duke Ellington and Louis Armstrong and had his own radio show. And his voice,
Yeah.
there's nothing like my dad's narrative.
Aw.
And my sister and I wrote songs together, sang together, and literally just felt this calling on our heart to go out and have what was here radiate from us, because songs would just come through us. We would always write these
Oh.
spiritual, uplifting. I called it positive message music because people needed it and resonated with it. So we would go and
Yeah.
speak and we would do concerts together. But now they're all dead. So, like, mommy, daddy, sister, all on the other side. And I'm the only one left in my nuclear family. And so you asked what has shaped me, that beautiful upbringing and relationship, but also
Mm.
they are still right here, all up in my business, as if I have Kristen on the other side, like just helping me all the way through. So I think there's miracles happening all the time because I've got the team in the unseen.
That's so moving. And I think for those of us who do have people on the other side, it's very encouraging to know that this is your experience. Okay, so you lost the three of them. In what order? Tell me about this. You know, I'm a death doula. I got to know.
Yeah. So my I'm going to tell you a little bit of a backstory because it's so powerful. My
Please.
husband and I were sitting on a beach in Mexico for spring break with our kids. Also, another rare relationship. How many kids want their
Mm.
parents to go on spring break with them? But we enjoy that kind of really rich relationship with our sons. And I remember hitting my husband just saying, "Do you recognize how blessed we are? Our kids know both sets of grandparents. I only had one
Yeah.
living grandmother when I was growing up. I didn't have a relationship with grandparents. My grandmother was amazing, but one versus four, and our kids love to spend time with us. And I just remember taking this inventory of feeling we're so blessed. And I think that was God's gift saying, hang on, honey, because it's about to hit the fan. So
Yeah.
in the airport on the way home, my sister got a hold of me and said, I want you to listen carefully. I get to heal from ovarian cancer. And I dropped to my knees and she said, I want you to pay attention to how I said that because I don't want you to be thinking I'm fighting ovarian cancer. I'm dying from ovarian cancer. It's just I'm choosing very carefully how to go through this journey. And I didn't want you to find out about it on Facebook. I was so praying that I could tell you in person. So I'm glad I'm the first person you're talking to in customs on the way home from Mexico.
Uh,
But that was the beginning. So she was diagnosed in 2012, and it was as if both of our parents said, oh, hell no, there is no way a child is going to go before us. So our mom died of pancreatic cancer within a couple years after Lauren's diagnosis. And then our dad died
mhm.
almost a year to the day later from multiple systems atrophy. And the biggest gift my sister gave to me is that she stayed alive long enough that we could be at bedside with our mom when she crossed, with our dad when he crossed, and I was with her when she crossed. And there is nothing more sacred than being next to somebody as they're making their transition into whatever that next thing is.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
What an extraordinary thing. So you're running 2014, 15, 16 in these,
So
in my calculation.
was 2012, mom died 2015, dad 2016, and she hung on 7 years total. and died in 2019.
Oh, Kristen, I mean, I'm so sorry. I know that you still enjoy connection and everything, but to go through that is profound, and to be stacked like that, really, it's a lot. And I'm so sorry for the painfulness of that.
Mm.
Although when I listen to you, I'm so struck by how you're able to process it and see it and take the holiness. Because a lot of people, as a doula, there are a lot of people that I work with, and they're surprised by how holy it is to be with somebody at end of life. But I hear you saying that you sense that, and that it added something to going through the loss.
Yes, I knew that because we had always had such a deep spiritual, rich relationship with one another, I was able to just kind of check in with myself that I could be for them what they each needed. So it wasn't about
Wow.
through their loss or what am I going to do without you so much as are you feeling ready? Are you like, I remember my sister when she was in hospice, she started to get pissed off. She was like, I'm ready. I don't want to be here anymore. Why am I still alive?
Mm,
To have a safe space where she could literally talk about that
yeah.
is awesome
Yeah.
because everybody can get real with their situation. And so
Yeah.
we've always been very in touch with the fact that we create our reality, that thoughts,
Mm,
beliefs, and beliefs shape what rolls out in the future. And so I said, you know, that attitude of being pissed off and wanting to go isn't probably helping. It's not the vibration or energy or frequency you want to have. So let's play with that. I said, can you imagine the reunion you're going to have with mom and dad? I am so furious.
mm,
I am not going to be at that party. You are going to have the best time. And you'll get to see all your cats on the other side and grandmama. And let's just change the energy and have expectation and anticipation and even appreciation for what is about to happen. So we played this
yeah.
game where every day I would rip the next day off of that 1 day calendar kind of thing. And we would say,
Yes.
today's a great day to die. And that's the playfulness she wanted to have with that. And I
Yeah.
that space for her. And so we're all worried about how can we be for them what they need. And the only way we
Yeah.
know that is if we ask. And she was really clear. I don't want to study it. If you're going to look on the internet as to what all these symptoms are going to be like that I go through, don't tell me. She created what she called her chemo sabe, which was a group of friends that would go to her cancer treatments with her, and they would
Yes.
pray over the bag of toxic chemicals and they would laugh and sing. And so she was never alone. And she talked about every day on Facebook. She talked about, hey, I had to get the colostomy. Hey, the colostomy was reversed. Hey, I named my colostomy Lucy. I mean, she just had, Lucy for loose stool. Sorry. She
Yeah.
just
I
had so
love that.
fun with it and such an inspiration for people that I don't
Yeah.
want to be in their mix of I don't want them to have to deal with how are we making sure Kristen's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how
Yeah.
I tried to go through that. And of course, emotions happen and I experience grief, but I think because we had this beautiful understanding on the front end that this life is not all that we are. The essence of who we are, of what we are is well beyond this body. That
Yeah. The best of us. Yeah.
there was a piece about it kind of going into it.
That's extraordinary. So part of what I like is that you asked your people, what do you need and what can I help you? I think often we forget when we're loving on somebody at that point that one of the best things we can do is say, hey, you know, what would make you feel good? How do you want to go at this? Because when you're the person who is, it's your ending that you're looking at, you call the shots. I mean, I
Yeah.
think with respect, that's where we need to be. We can love ourselves and take care of ourselves as caregivers and supporters, but the person in the body that will be, exiting needs to call the shot. And if
Yeah.
they don't want to, or if they're wanting you to do something different, there's room for that, of course. But you know what? I'm wondering, because they died in the sequence that they did, and because your family held the beliefs that they did, what, how did you do memorializing when they passed? What did that look like in your family?
So again, my sister and I are singer-songwriters. And so at our mom's celebration of life, we did a concert. We pulled every picture we could think of and had this beautiful physical board as well as a slideshow of all of the memories. And we chose to sing through it. For my dad, the very same thing. We actually wrote a song called Legacy for my dad, and we each sang that together, a verse apiece. We actually co-wrote that song together. And then again, probably I have underestimated the power of this gift, but my sister said, I want to have a celebration of life while I'm still alive to be a part of it. So we had a
I
celebration of
love
life
her.
while she was alive. And she said it one time, I want to do this for me because I want to be a part of it. I don't want to miss out on it
Yeah.
on this side. I want to be with all the people who would gather in my death while I'm alive. That would be so cool to be a part of. But she also said, I just don't want you to have to go through that alone. I wouldn't have had a mom or a dad to help me with hers. And I don't think I
Yeah.
understood the depth of that gift until it was over and she was really dead. And
Yeah.
I'm, oh, I don't have to think about that. She
I don't
already,
have to throw a party now. Right.
it was such a beautiful thing. And we sang a concert together at her celebration of life.
Oh, she got
And
to
of course, I
sing.
broke down because we sang all the time, everywhere we got a chance. And it was like, oh, this is probably one of the last times I get to sing with my sister. That,
Yeah. And to be fully present in the moment when it happened, you
yeah,
know?
feeling all the
Oh,
feelings.
that's extraordinary.
Yeah.
What else did you do at her service? What, yeah, there are women who are going to be listening to this. And listen, at midlife, we're going to lose our people if we have not already. And you know something? Women pass wisdom to each other across centuries, cultures. We always talk about this, but this is one of those subjects that's actually kind of a cool girlfriend share. Your sister is awesome. What did she want at her I'm here for it memorial service?
She wanted a lot of singing. She wanted music. She wanted people to stand in the pews and sing too, although not
Oh,
comfortable to be on stage and do the solo kind of thing, but to invite
yeah.
everybody in song. Like music is such a vibrational thing. So she was a part of a national organization called Threshold Choir. And Threshold Choir is an organization that has at least three-part harmony, at least three people who go to bedside of people who are in hospice and sing to them. And I really believe that it kind of sets people up for a frequency shift. It's scientifically changing the vibration, ready for their transition. And so vocalizing, whether you can vocalize yourself or you can have people singing to you. People talk about the choirs of angels. It's like we're gearing up for that on this side so that when you go on that side, you'll be more open. I don't know how that looks really, but I would say that it was a beautiful thing that she was writing a song a day and she created this
Wow.
songbook called Safely Surrounded on All Sides by Love. That is
This is-
her songbook, all for threshold choirs. So at her celebration of life, she was having these people sing harmonies and sing some of the songs that she wrote. And so it was very musical.
I love that to her end here, because I think you and I are in agreement that we are souls in bodies. We are spiritual beings having human experience. And
Mm,
I love that she took her gifts and decided, how can I leave them as legacy? Just like her song said, right?
sure
That
did.
she cared enough about you, of course, but about others that would be behind her. So if I know that there are women listening to this right now who just got chills because either they want to figure out how to secure a legacy threshold choir, not legacy, but a threshold choir, or they would like to participate in it. Do you have information about that? Can I stick it in my show notes?
Yeah, let's put a link to the Threshold Choir organization in your show notes, because whether you want to sing and be a part of it, because what a gift, what a
Yeah.
sacred offering you're making by lending your voice to that. But also,
Yeah.
if you know somebody who would like to have people singing at bedside, yeah, we'll put a
Yeah.
link to that in there for sure. She also wrote this book. She definitely was aware, I'm on my way out, so what can I contribute? How can I contribute? And so her book is called Holy Shift, Everything's a Gift. And it was really about her perspective of changing the way she decided to experience her, moving forward.
This is so beautiful. And so, you know what I'm realizing? We need to say her name. What is her name? What was her name?
Oh, Lauren Lane Powell. Lauren Lane Powell. Holy Shift,
Lauren
Everything's
Lane
a Gift.
Power.
You would find all of her music on a website called Reverb Nation. You could buy her songbook through the Threshold Choir. So yeah,
Yeah.
we
This
didn't know this
this
was going
is
to be a podcast about Lauren, but it's so.
no, we didn't. But Lauren, we're like throwing you the thank you, girl. This is really beautiful. And I definitely do these different episodes knowing that someone out there needs what's going to come up. So God bless you, Lauren, because I think she's trying to share it with somebody. And so we just with love we put that out. So have you then, because of your experience with Lauren, have you also gone on and performed with Threshold Choir?
I definitely did. I joined a Threshold Choir here in Grand Rapids for just a short time, but I'm
Wow.
also a singer in a band, and so my bandwidth for doing outside activities with new grandbabies.
Yes.
So something had to go. So I was only involved personally with the Threshold Choir. When I was visiting her, I would participate with her choirs when they went out. But I also joined the Grand Rapids Threshold Choir for just a short time. It was such a great, beautiful people. I did not choose to make time for that going forward. I'm really careful about my intentions.
Yeah, I love
Everything
that.
taking that place.
I love that. There's so many things in what you said that I like. I like that you're fully owning what you're choosing to do. And I would also say this, you're thinking I only did it for a short time. That's a just moment, but it's extraordinary. There's no judgment. There's no, I support a number of charities and I always say, when we're doing the fundraising moment, I always say, I want you all to know that all giving is sacred. That James Carville said that his mother taught him that you can give two things in life that are sacred. It's your love and your time. And I would add your resources to that, of course, but your treasure. That's what you did. And I love that that's become a part of the mix of who Kristen is now, because here's Kristen, this very spiritually open, beautiful woman who also has expertise and creative and the music and the whole thing, who also has the kind of expertise that does business consult. How do you how does that land within you? Like, how do you manage in midlife? You're smart enough, you've already raised the kids, you've done these things. How does that land within you so that you still feel fulfilled as a woman?
Well, I feel now that I've also been blessed enough to always do what I love. If I don't love what I do, I don't want to
Mm,
do it. I'm trading my life for what I'm spending my time doing. So I
yeah.
always want to do what I love. And my husband and I have been very intentional that the jobs that we had throughout our careers allowed us to spend a lot of time with our boys. He coached all of their programs. I was a volunteer in school. I went to every field trip. And it's because we chose jobs that gave us that freedom. So
Mhm.
right now, coaching 40 people and having, really packed schedule, I believe that part of my spiritual gift is guiding the strategy of these people who are making very important business decisions. And I think I've always been intuitive and tuned in, but now that I've got Team Mommy, Daddy, Lauren, or whoever is on my side, on the other side, I think that there's a lot of kind of that intuition that comes into the guidance. Sometimes ideas drop in and I'm like, well, that's a really good idea. I wonder where that came from, but I don't question it. I offer it up, and 99.9% of the time, my clients are like, that is exactly what I need. And so I don't question where it comes from. I mean, we have
Yeah.
amazing strategy. I work with Brand Builders Group, and everything we do is very systematic and organized. And you move through a process and you get the things accomplished. And still, what comes through is like above and beyond, kind of cherry on top. That is, it just seems to be very personal connection.
Yeah. Is it, I would imagine, like when I think about you, especially because I've seen you in action, and if you get to hear Kristen Hartnagel talk, you're one lucky person.
Sure.
But because your wisdom, your experience, and the goodness of your heart kind of shines through. For me, when I look at you, I think it must be incredibly rewarding to be able to have a career, have chosen a career, invest in it, in which you help empower people to achieve a dream. Because if you're going through brand builders, you want to entrepreneur it, whether you're a speaker or a writer, or you have a physical business, obviously. But how is that? How does that land with you?
Oh my gosh. I don't think there's anything more rewarding than touching base with people who are on this planet to make a difference in the world. They're mission driven messengers. They've got a calling on their heart. They know that they have an impact in them waiting, or they're already making it and they're trying to take it to the next level.
Up
But
level?
yeah,
Yeah.
so rewarding. I mean, what else could I be doing that allows me to have the input on the way people are doing things to make smarter decisions? Because we see people
Yeah.
doing the right things, but in the wrong order. And to have a system that helps you see, hey, for the big picture of your success, it would be smarter if we did this first before we did that, because that costs a lot of money and we don't have anything making the
Hmm.
providing the revenue for you to be able to do all those other things. So let's slow down so we can speed up. And it's just, it is a joyride to be doing this with people.
That's amazing. You know what? You know what you're reminding me of? This is how I image you. Is on the isn't it the Appalachian Trail that there are people every so often who help make sure that you're going the right direction and give you information, and they're called the trail angels on the trail. And I think of you as a trail angel, as someone who can give counsel and wisdom and insight that allows the person making the journey to get where they want to go.
That feels good.
That is so beautiful. And I love that you found a career. I think a lot of people assume that if you have that big of an open heart, that you must go into ministry, or that you must move to Calcutta and get involved in the orphanage and Mother Teresa, that kind of a perspective. But what I love that you've done, and you've been real, you stayed in the world and you found, how can I take my unique gifts, talents, and abilities and plug them in to do the thing that lights me up in the real world? There are people who are better every single day because you're here, Kristen. And I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
Thank you. That feels so
It's
good.
true.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
true, though.
appreciate
And
that.
then you're balancing that with family and with the music, where the music has been very important in this story. So where does it fit in your life now? What's that look like?
Well, so when songs come to me, I get a download of a melody and lyrics. And
That's
I
insane.
Yeah, well, thank you. So I better have something to record it in. Before the ages of cell phone, I literally had a dictaphone where I would have
I
to
love
her
this.
over and I would sing this. And I don't know how to read or write music, so I would send those to my sister and she would orchestrate them and she would arrange them. And then we would go into
Mm.
the recording studio and we would sing harmonies together. So we have several CDs of our music. And so I still have some of her songs that are unpublished, some of my songs that are unpublished. And so that's
Yeah.
on to get back into the studio. I would also say I've always been out performing in some way, shape, or fashion. So Lauren and I would do concerts together. I had an individual guitar player and just we went out and sang. And now I'm in this 7 women, all female rock band. And like my little girl dream is to be on a stage with thousands of people. And so we've been
Yeah.
these outside venues where it is like that. It's like performing in front of thousands and it's all 60s
That's so
music.
cool.
Yeah, it's just
You do
such
60s
creative.
music. I love this so much. And there is a rumor that you're on YouTube performing. Is this a true
Oh,
story?
yeah, we have one song that has over 3 million views. I don't know how those algorithm gods of YouTube pushed that particular video, but Spirit in the Sky on Kristen Hartnagel YouTube channel, over 3 million views. It's like
That's insane.
crazy how that happened. Yeah. It's
Kristen,
just
that is so beautiful. It's so, can I ask you, was it, I guess you had family, so it was a little bit easier because there are women listening to this who have an artistic ability. Maybe it's in music, maybe it's in art, maybe it's in how they garden. I don't know. Maybe it's decorating, but they love what they do and they're trying to figure out, okay, maybe I can't do it for a living because you don't sing for a living. You have a side hustle that is something that makes you feel fulfilled and that you're passionate about. But how do you how are you intentional about making time for the music piece? Because you have grandbabies, you have kids.
I think if I didn't, I would not love my life. Like my joy is my job. I take joy very seriously. Like I need to feel joy. And so if my joy is my job and it doesn't come from anybody else, I need to protect the things that do replenish me. And there's
Mm,
nothing like being on stage, feeling in the zone, dancing with wild abandon like an idiot, singing my heart out. Nothing fills me up more than that. Like that is pretty darn cool. And so I
that's
think if
pretty darn
you
cool.
yeah, if you know the things that replenish you and you're not honoring the time and space to do those things, you're not just cheating yourself. You're cheating everyone who you care about and the world of your fullness because you can't
I
lob
love
off part of yourself. You just can't.
I love that so much. And what I heard you say that was sort of a wisdom pivot surprise for me is you said, I take joy seriously and
Yeah.
I know that I need it. And that, uh, I like, I will literally now change my life because I do need joy. It needs to be a part of what happens. And I need to be intentional and invest in people and things that help get me to that place and
Mhm.
understand it. Is this something that was intuitive to you to know to do that? I mean, how did you come to realize I got to have joy, man?
I think my life is an accumulation of every book that I've ever read, of every thought leader I ever followed. And I have gone down the spiritual rabbit trail of Deepak Chopra, Neil Donald Walsh, Greg Braden, Dr. Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza. And to me, it is all verifying and validating that I'm the one creating my experience. Mike Dooley. I'm trained as an infinite possibilities trainer. And so
Wow.
that line of thinking is thoughts become things. And so I'm
Yeah.
really diligent about what I allow my mind to think. My brain is just doing its job. My brain's job
Right.
is to think thoughts. And so if I don't put my hands squarely on my own shoulders and say, why are you thinking that? Then my brain can run amok. I call it like monkey mind, like the things that it's trying to get me to think about. And I can say, wait a minute, I don't want to pull up a chair and watch that movie. No, that's not for me. I'm going to choose the thoughts that I think because my joy is my job. And I take that as a kind of like a task to be the observer of my thoughts and to decide if I'm feeling anything less than joy, what is mine to do about that? I need to take responsibility for my thoughts. I need to choose the actions that are going to give me more joy. I'm not saying staying high vibe and high frequency 100% of the time is even possible, but it's just like when I'm in a low, I can understand that every low is like an exhale. And every low is followed by a high. Every exhale is followed by an inhale. So that's contraction and expansion. And it's as reliable as breathing. Nothing lasts forever. So why would I ever think that if I'm at a high, it should stay that way? It's never going to stay that way. So anticipate that a high is going to be followed by a low. But just as equally, I can be convicted that I can't stay down here. So every low is followed by a high. So why not, when I'm in the middle of the low, that contraction, why not throw my hands up to God and say, I can't wait to see what's next, because it can't stay this way. It can't stay this way. So I can be in joy and gratitude and anticipation and expectancy about what's next rather than wallowing in the crap. It's a choice.
I love that. And I love the understanding that, I mean, you look in nature, the seasons, all the everything, it's cyclical, up and down, and there's left and right and polarity, you know, North and South Pole. This is life. Interestingly, today I made a post on my Facebook about how it's a picture of autumn leaves, and I said, the only constant in life is change. And the challenge in midlife is, can you embrace that?
Yes. My sister wrote a song. It's super quick. I'm going to sing it for you now. This is a
Please.
song. She's coming through. I reinvent myself every single day. Why would I ever want to stay the same? Consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds.
Wow. The voice and the lyric. That's really fun. That's so fun.
She wrote fun songs like that all the time.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Lauren. Yeah. Yeah. Why would we want to stay the same? Right? Like, it's a good thing to keep changing and to, I love also the idea and that we don't have to believe our thoughts, that they are brains, just neurologically, your brain generates problems most of the time because it's looking to protect you, to keep the body alive. That's the job of the brain, really, is that.
Yeah.
So primarily what you're going to get out of it is threats and problems, you know, and the thinking part of you has to have a strategy to not just be chained to the fears.
Yes. My mom did such a great job of instilling a playful curiosity. She said, hey, there are going to be people that you hold in high esteem, but don't believe everything they say just because you admire them. Then she said, you're going to hear things from your dad and I, and don't believe everything we say. We're in a position of authority, but nobody got a parenting manual. And then she said, don't believe everything you think, because just because you think it doesn't mean it's true. Question everything. It wasn't a cynical, don't trust anything. It was trust that curiosity is going to bring expansion of your understanding instead of attachment. I don't need you to act a certain way. I don't need you to act a certain way. I don't need things to unfold in a certain way. Release attachment to a specific outcome. And that allows you to stay playful and curious.
That's so beautiful. The encouragement to stay curious, but then to get let go of the struggle to control everything. And
Mhm.
instead, if it flows, if it changes, okay. But you know, I think why people struggle with that is that the underlying piece of that is that you have to have your center be connected and balanced so that whatever happens in life, you're here, you
Right,
know?
right.
But that curiosity is the path out of there. Because if you don't say why is this happening? What can I learn from it? What am I not seeing? That's
Yeah.
the best question in so many circumstances.
What am I not seeing? I love that. It reminds me of something I learned when I was a student of the Course in Miracles, because
Mm,
it is saying that I assign the meaning that anything has for me. And what I extrapolate from that is I can't bring I can't experience any encounter without bringing Kristenness with me. Like I bring her everywhere I go.
mhm.
And so I'm always seeing through the filter of my past experience. And that is not ultimate
Yes.
truth. That's my own biases. That's my own, you know, trigger points. That's the things that really trip me up and make me skeptical or make me doubt. And so I would rather surrender when something pushes my buttons. I would rather say, hey, that's a mirror that I have a pushable button. I would much rather not have as many pushable buttons. So since this tripped my trigger, I get to say, what can I do? What is mine to do to remove this trigger? And since I'm me, I don't know how to do that. So I surrender. It's like I give it to the Holy
Mm,
Spirit. You show me how to see this differently because I'm seeing it through
mm,
Christian, and you know all there is to know. So help me
mhm.
see this differently.
Oh, I love that so much. I've often thought that I'm a diver, and sometimes when it kind of the way that I envision it because of that is that when you're diving, like you're down on the side of this reef wall and you're like looking at this anemone doing its beautiful thing, and then there's a tiny little clownfish, orange and black and white striped, think of the Nemo thing swimming in that beautiful anemone, and then you're just like, this is so insane, and the stripes on it are so perfect and the tiny detail, and then you kind of let a little float happen and you go back a little further and you realize, wow, it's a whole wall of a lot of things growing and different kinds of fish, and this is so insane. This is maybe the most beautiful part of this dive. And then you got to float up a little bit higher because you guys got to go back to the boat, and you realize, dude, that was like the side of a canyon wall. And look how far this canyon goes. And then all the way up until where you bust through and there's sunlight and you lose track of that world that you were at. Our lives are somewhere in that. I always think that spirit transcends us and can really offer us that larger view if we desire it.
Ooh, perspective. Perspective is
Mhm.
everything,
And to
Christian.
ask for it, from divine perspective, what does this look like?
Yeah.
With a larger, the other thing you said something that I thought was like so cool. You referenced that if the way that you see things and experience things, you're bringing your Christenness to it. And I think that's a great way to think about how we're seeing life. But also this aspect that Kristen is always going to see what's in front of her through the lens of her history. And history is what has already been. So if and I think about you helping people create the dreams and things that they hope to be. And so much of what's really good that happens to us when we're trying to manifest, when we're trying to create a job or a next chapter or whatever, is that there is beauty in it that we have not yet seen and we cannot yet imagine. And it just seems so much more powerful to invite the heart that can see the bigger picture in with us to, to get us forward into the beauty of what we cannot even, because of our histories, that we cannot even yet imagine, to make room for that inside of us. I don't know. How's that land with you?
Oh my gosh. Well, everything that has been, everything in our lives that we have created to be the way it is, the how unfolded, how we got there unfolded. And yet, when we have
Mm,
any new endeavor, we really want to know how. And if we could just give up needing to know the how, get super excited about what it's going to feel like when it's already there, and don't be
yes,
so attached to it needing to look a certain way.
to the
Because
how.
here's what I believe, our thoughts are like the building blocks that we give to the universe to create our future.
Mm,
And if I'm
hmm
focused on the evidence of what is, then I'm giving the universe the building blocks to make more of what is. If I'm not in imagination of what could be, like if I'm
hmm
giving my thoughts there, it's think of your thoughts as thought coins. You are paying
hmm
attention. You are literally depositing currency into something. Why would I want to pay attention to something I don't want more of? I want to level the playing field. I want to think of what could be and get excited
hmm
about that. And then say, I know, again, surrender. You know the shortest path to that. If I want to go to Texas, you might take me by way of Indiana and down through Tennessee before I get to Texas, and I might question that. But if you
hmm
want to get to Texas, what if I even took another step back and said, Texas or something better? Like maybe you have something better in mind. I don't even need, it
Yes,
doesn't need
yes.
to be Texas. It needs to be kind of like Texas. Then we're
What if
really
I'd be
saying,
even happier in Louisiana? I don't know why that would be personally as a
that's
Texan, but whatever.
That's right. It's like the only reason we want anything is because we think having it is going to make us feel a certain way. So let's
Yes.
get attached to that feeling and then say it can look any way. It just I want that feeling. I want more of this, please. And then we kind of release that attachment.
I love that so much because all of us in Butterfly Days, we're all at that stage in life where we are looking at people and projects. It can be business or it can be retirement. We have both of those, parties here at this. We're all at this party together, and part of what we're all trying to think of, we are not living our mother's retirement. We are going to have something more, something different, something deeper, hopefully something more beautiful as we conceive it. And what you're saying is really important, to not get attached to the hows of it, but to lean into, how do I want to feel? I want to feel happy and fulfilled. I want to feel useful. I want to feel like I've made a difference. Whatever creatively expressed, whatever it is, if we at this point in our lives can have the courage to begin to say, I want this. I don't yet know what it looks like, but I want this feeling. I'm willing to move forward towards it and then see what starts to come up.
Yeah, and
Like, is that a good count? Is that good counsel?
absolutely, but it unfortunately it's counterintuitive because we have had dive into your imagination kind of removed from the fabric of what we spend our time doing. And so I'm
Yeah,
really calling people to spend time in imagination again. If you don't have this calling on your heart, if you're wondering what your purpose is, likely it's because you've not honored imagination time, like just time going, what if, what if, what if? And so to me, I'm starting this thing called collaborative imagineering. I truly believe that when we hold space for one another, magical things happen. That
agree.
wherever two or more are gathered, there is this exponential strength in this frequency vibration thing. And so
hmm
there are books that I said have shaped me, movies that I've seen, people that I follow. And so in this collaborative imagineering space, I want this to be a community where we're picking a book or a movie to just have a conversation about what stood out to you. And because we know
Yeah.
that what we consume shapes the way we go forward in life, what do you
Yeah.
want this book or movie or experience to do differently? What do you want to do differently as a result of digesting, consuming this information? And like a true mastermind, masterminds, when they were originally fashioned, were literally, I want to hear what's important to you, what you're trying to accomplish, and let's all hold space to see that happening for you. That's what I see this
Right.
community being, is discussing something, getting super excited about imagining what that looks like for you in the future,
Mm.
giving space for one another. So it's like a sacred sandbox. It's like a joy lab where we're just coming together and we're talking about important things. We're visualizing the way we want things to be, and then we're holding space to have it come true for one another.
The Sacred Sandbox and the Joy Lab. What great, great imagery. I'm writing it down because I'm like, I have to remember this. So, is this yet? This is fantastic because allowing a lot of times after 50, certainly after 60, there, I think, in a culture that was so pushed youth and the importance of youth, that we didn't realize that we're going to get to this age and still have creative agency. And so, what you're saying is, let's get back in there and let's take the wisdom that we have now and play with the inspirations and the elements. And then in the sacred sandbox, in our, what was it, our joy
Lab.
uh, joy lab, there we go, and mix our alchemical reactions here. What could you come up with from that space of open-hearted creativity with
Yeah.
the level of wisdom that you have on board now?
Mm.
Boom. So have you started doing this yet? Can you share about this at all?
Yeah. So there will be a collaborative imagineering website as part of the Kristen Hartnagel website. It's interesting because I owned the collaborative imagineering URL years ago, but I never knew why. I never knew what it was going to be. And just within the last 2 months, I've been going, oh, it's going to be this community of people who do discussions about things that inspired them, and what I was talking about with the Sacred Sandbox and the Joy Lab and collaborative imagineering. So that's all taking shape. I'm getting people who are showing interest that I'm kind of putting on a waiting list until it's ready to go. But what I would say is, I'm 60, and I believe that the fountain of youth is the fountain of you. It's the fountain of whatever's inside you waiting to come out. You stay young, you stay feeling energized and excited when you're tapping into what turns you on, what fills you up. And so let's do that together. Let's figure that out, and let's hold space with one another, for one another, so that we can have this amplification of good in the world.
That is so beautiful. And on top of that, because in order to produce Butterfly Days, I consume a lot of information about aging and about the neurology of it and the physio and the social, emotional, all the componentry. I'm looking at lots of things. And the science is with you, that staying creatively involved, that connecting with other people and learning from their experience, all of these things really promote healthy longevity and give you the runway to just really make this your most amazing chapter, which is not what we were brought up believing was going to happen.
That's right.
It's an extraordinary revelation. Well, that's fantastic. So what we will do is we will put all the links where they can find you in the show notes, but we'll quickly say that they can find you on Facebook at Evolve Now with Kristen. And your Kristen is Kristen.
Correct.
So Facebook, you're Evolve Now with Kristen. Instagram and LinkedIn, you are Kristen, Kristen, Hartnagel, Hartnagel. Gel on Insta and LinkedIn. And then also your YouTube, which I think is super fun. Your YouTube handle is K Heartstrings, which is
K
so
Heart
cute.
Sing. K Heart Sing.
K Heart Sings. Oh, that's so cute. It's so cute. K Heart Sings. That is absolutely beautiful. Part of what is really fun for me in having the honor to get to interview you, Kristen, is to see a woman who has chosen to live in alignment with her core values and how to find genuine, deep, beautiful meaning in a life that was not just easy. You certainly have blessings, but to have weathered the losses that you have and to still be a beautiful, shining heart who I know for a fact, because I know a lot of people that work with you who speak to your genuine ability to support them crafting the level of success and dreams that they want. Like, what an extraordinary thing. And I'm really excited for your next Sacred Sandbox project. Oh, I'm so excited. I just want you to know, I hope that you have next level success with that, not only for you, but for everybody who touches that project, that they would be up leveled and expanded and make the world better because they came in and participated in playing in your light. You're just so lovely. And I want you to know, I probably told you before, but Kristen Hartnagel, I am rooting for you. I am rooting for you.
Thank you, Tami. You are doing such good thing. Just beautiful light that you're bringing to women who are in need of these messages that life is not over in midlife. Life is just beginning. It's whatever you want to make it. So thank you for the good you're doing.
I'm so grateful you listened to this episode. I hope it was a real value to you. If there's a sister in your life who needs this message, please share it, just like women have done to lift each other up over the centuries and across cultures. Women lifting each other is so important. It's why I do this work. And to avoid FOMO and keep up leveling your own life, make sure you don't miss the next episode. You may be losing hormones, but your life has given you powerful perspective. And I believe you have something to give that no one else does, that the world needs. So remember, I'm rooting for you. Let's go.